Please welcome to the stage, Micki Berg.
Until the age of 50, I wanted to be anybody but me. I wanted to be Barbie. And at 50, I found out I'm really a lot like Raggedy Ann, and that is so much more fun. My grandchildren sing this song, "What Does the Fox Say?" Heard that song? Well, you're looking at her. I'm the fox, and I have a lot to say, but if it weren't for my hairdresser, I would be standing here as the silver fox. And then I think your perception of me might be a little different. It's called stereotype threat. I believe we live in a world of a growing, aging population who has a wealth of experience and knowledge that translates into wisdom, and we're not tapping into it. Erik Erikson, the psychologist, coined a term, generativity. In simple terms, that means the developmental task of the older generation to care for and educate and teach generations to come. And I don't see it as a task. I see it as a responsibility. But this is the big problem. It lies within the older generation. It is called self-limiting beliefs. And what happens is I hear more I can'ts than I can. I've spoken to older people all over the world, and they share their dreams and their goals and things they've always wanted to do, and they now have freedom, and they have health and energy, and they go on. And as the coach and trainer I am, I move them to action. Come on, take action on what you want to do. And I cringe when I hear more, "I'm too old. It's too late." At the age of 50, I went back to school. I went to the University of Michigan, and it took a lot of courage, and I was scared. And my fears were grounded in a couple of facts. Number one, I'm going to be the oldest one there. Number two, what if they ask me a question? I'll be embarrassed in class because I won't know the answer. I can't remember what I had for breakfast, and that was a few hours ago. Well, some miracle happened. The first class I went to, I went in, and the class is going on, and somebody asked a question, and this professor directs the attention towards me. Well, you have to ask Micki that. She's the one who has the knowledge and experience in that area. And my self-confidence went from the basement to the sky, and unfortunately for my family, it's been flying high ever since. I knew that's where I had the knowledge to offer, the wisdom to this younger generation, and I thought it was great. Now, my Aunt Chili just passed away, 103 and a half. And she was a great conversationalist. And one of the last conversations I had with her when she was, maybe a month before she died, she said to me, "Don't look back. I have no regrets." Well, I always challenged her, and I said, "Come on, you lived 103 years. You got to have some regret. Tell me." And she pondered for a moment and went like this and then looked at me and said, "I miss work." Here's a woman that retired well into her 90s, still drove herself to work. I said, "Well, that's great because I have a growing life coaching practice and I need some administrative help and you're so good at that. Why don't you come and work for me?" Again, she went like this and looked at me and then smiled and said, "Not today." My sister Sandy got polio when she was 9, and post-polio took her from this world when she was 59. But she did everything. Nothing stopped her. People forgot she had a disability because she didn't act like she had a disability. She did everything. She traveled around the world. She went to the University of Michigan. She had a successful business. Nothing stopped her. And one day, she called me. She says, "I'm in Mexico, and guess what I'm doing?" I said, "What would that be?" She said, "I'm going parasailing." I said, "Huh?" So you can't do that. Why not? Well, if you forgot, wheel yourself over to a mirror. You're a paraplegic. You don't have legs to land on. She said, "Don't worry, they'll catch me." I said, "Really, who are they? Do we know these people that are going to catch you?" "Oh, you're so silly." Calls me back later that afternoon and said, "I went parasailing. It was great. They caught me, and I think I'm going to do it again." I went ballistic. I said, "Are you crazy? Are you out of your mind? Aren't you afraid of anything?" And I'll never forget her answer, and I hope that you will never forget her answer. She said, "Yes, I'm afraid like everyone else, but I'm more afraid not to do it." I'm more afraid not to do it. I had a dream when I was young and into my teens and 20s, and my dream was that I wanted to marry a doctor. I never did. So I became one. I am Dr. Micki Berg. I got my master's at age 54. I got my Ph.D. at 67. And by the time I was 70, I wrote a book appropriately called I Don't Want to Be Anybody But Me. How about you? How many of you are on Medicare or Social Security? How many are going to be someday? Then you all need to listen up. I also, by the way, have 6 children and 11 grandchildren, and did this all through raising those kids and helping with the grandchildren. I want to accomplish so much more in my life. How would you like to say someday what I'm going to say right now? At 103 years old, I have no regrets. How about you? Thank you. Thank you.